I'm Doc.
And I'm Original J. Together, we're Lucky Boy Beard Company.
Buckle up. We're doing beard stuff. Good smoke.
Ready?
Yeah.
Welcome back to episode 3, or whatever episode this may be. I lose track. I think it's our third one.
I think it's the third one too.
The third one.
And because people have asked where we're shooting this, welcome to the secret undisclosed location.
Super double secret undisclosed location.
Exactly right.
Yes. It's glad to be back. I'm glad there's some people starting to watch our videos. And thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back. Welcome if you're new. Please hit the like, subscribe, or whatever the button may be, depending on what platform you're seeing this on. Last week, we didn't get to, because we ran out of time, the customer question that we got on Facebook. So we're going to get into that tonight. I think It's a good topic. I think people will appreciate that topic. Before we start, let's talk about the booze and cigars. What are we drinking tonight?
So we're drinking Monkey Shoulder, which is actually a Scotch blend. It's a Speyside blend. And, you know, a blend is where they're going to different distilleries, different casks, different whiskeys at cask, and blending them to get a certain quality. Now, you may be familiar with like Dewar's or Johnny Walker. Those are blends. And to me, they taste like blends. The thing about Monkey Shoulder is it actually, for me, drinks like a single malt.
It does drink like a single malt.
And that's why I like it so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great value. It's a great Scotch. And yeah, that's what we're drinking. And you know, it's got a nice amber color. It's got, you know, it's not too hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an exquisitely drinkable blend that tastes like a single malt.
It's a good everyday Scotch.
Mm-hmm.
It's never bad. It's always good. I enjoy Monkey Shoulder. You turned me on to Monkey Shoulder, I think last summer when we were riding, and we stopped maybe up at Mount Tom, was it? And you pulled a flask out that had some Monkey Shoulder?
That's right. Yeah, I think it was Mohawk Mountain.
That could have been, yep.
Right.
Yep.
And yeah, so this is our go-to in the economy size. This is our go-to rally bottle. So when we go to rallies, you know, especially if we're doing overnight, we'll load some of this up in the giant flask, and that's what we'll sip on over campfires and chats. Our favorite time at rallies.
So I've got to bring up a topic of pride here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you what you're smoking for a cigar today.
And the last time we did this, you turned me on to this Rocky Patel Corojo box press. And I liked it so much, I went out and bought a box. And so here we are, even though it's not as good because you didn't buy it for me. Here we are smoking the Rocky Patel again. It's just a good stick.
So if I'm entitled to any sales royalties, Mr. Rocky Patel, you're welcome.
Mm.
And you can mail it to, I'll give you my address later. Send me a message.
DM him. Okay.
I am smoking a Oliva Series G, which is my go-to. They make it in a Maduro and a Connecticut wrapper.
Mm.
This is the Connecticut wrapper. Notice a trend, Connecticut wrappers. Box pressed Oliva Series G, one of my all-time favorites.
I know
this is a great smoke.
I know you love those Olivas.
You know where I found this?
Tell me.
I found this cigar at our launch in February. Was it February? Up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Remember we stopped at that lounge up there? Slow Burn. Jeremy.
Great cigar lounge.
Great lounge. Yes. Jeremy Soares. Great lounge. Great place. Great cigar selection upstairs.
We're going to tag this in the video so you know about this place.
Yep.
Really good.
I bought my first Oliva Series G. It was a Connecticut Churchill size, and I just fell in love with that cigar downstairs that night. It was absolutely wonderful. Yep, I am very glad we went up there and we found that, because I've smoked them ever since.
That was such a great time and such a great place and great people.
Yep.
Yeah, and beautiful cigar selection.
Beautiful lounge. Had an environment quite similar to this. Actually, a lot of our product photos
Early on, the very beginning.
Right, we're taken up there. Yep.
Yep. In fact, that's the first picture of you with product, and that was really like on the verge of you becoming part of Lucky Boy.
Right. I was a customer.
You were a customer.
I was your friend, and I was your consultant, for lack of a better term. I was helping you through the development process, but I wasn't actually a part of the company at that point.
Right.
Right.
Well, why are you part of the company now, Original J?
Because it's a great product. And why would I not want to be associated with such a quality product?
There you go.
So speaking of quality,
Let's talk about it.
that ties into the question that we didn't get to last week.
Lay it on us.
The question brought to us a couple of times by customers and potential customers on Facebook was, how do you develop such deep, complex, well-balanced scent profiles without using the artificial or the chemical fragrances, using only essential oils? And as the blender, that's the question for you, not for me.
Sure. So we've had a lot of great reviews by some of the best reviewers of beard care products in the beard oil world, right? Really, people like Dan C., who have deep and wide knowledge of beard care products. And one of the consistent reoccurring themes is, how are they getting such rich, long-lasting, complex blends using only essential oils, no fragrances. And the term fragrance in the industry almost always denotes artificial or artificially manipulated. So the question that's often asked even by the pros is, how are we doing this? And here's how we're doing it. As some of you know, I'm a doctor of acupuncture and Eastern medicine. I've been practicing for 30 years. Some of the more esoteric elements of my practice include the use of essential oils and carrier oils as therapeutics. So I have a lot of experience of blending, and I've created other product lines in the past, and I've got other product lines that I'm itching to bring into the world that are set and ready to go. We just have to decide trigger points. Points to trigger the product launch is what I mean to say. Trigger points are a whole nother thing. But this experience with formulating these oils for therapeutics has informed my knowledge of creating blends. So the baseline is, how do I want to smell? Do I want to smell like perfume? Look, I love patchouli, we use patchouli, but I don't want to smell like patchouli. I love amber, which is ground up ancient pine sap. It's
like fossilized.
It's a beautiful
or
fragrance.
something. Yes.
It's fossilized.
Yeah.
When a woman uses raw, real amber as a pulse point little touch, I kind of go a little crazy for that. I just love that smell. But it's not something we would use as a standalone product. When you're talking about complex stuff, like how do you make something smell like pipe tobacco? Or how do you make something smell like whiskey? Or how do you it's not...
Easy. You pour whiskey in it.
There's not a vial of pipe tobacco essential oil, right? You have to create those profiles. And if you think about it, we're selling an ounce of beard oil. And in that ounce of beard oil, there's, maybe 1 or 2 mLs. We're not going to talk about our formulations, but it's like 1 or 2 mLs of the fragrance oil, right?
Essential oil.
The essential oil. And
not to be confused with fragrance oil,
exactly.
which, so herein lies the problem, right? So a lot of people use the term fragrance oil. Fragrance oil is almost a catch-all.
Yeah.
Fragrance oil does not mean essential oils. It could, but it doesn't by default mean essential oils.
Right. So let's put a finer point on this. Our scent blends are made of 100% essential oils, organic where organic is possible, American crafted where American crafted is possible, and individual. Now, I've taken these individual essential oils, like be it bergamot, which is sort of a darker citrus scent, right? Or patchouli, or one thing I'm itching to get into the mix is what's called Lang Lang oil, Y-L-A-N-G, Lang Lang oil. It's a sweet sort of, the point is, all of these things combined,
Our master scientist.
all of these things combined move you towards a familiar scent. And so what we're doing with these fragrances, and this is the part of Lucky Boy that happens in my kitchen. This is not our production facility, but this is where I, mad scientist this stuff, which is like my happy place, where I'm mixing, a drop of this and a drop of that in order to create formulas. And some of it's already been done. It's like I research a lot. Well, how did you get this? And somebody will say, I got this by forming these three things, these three oils. And suddenly it's a profile that's different. It's like Long Island iced teas. It's just like every extra piece of booze they have behind the counter, and they mix it all together, and somehow it actually tastes like iced tea, right? It didn't start out as iced tea. It started out as bottom shelf rum or bottom shelf whatever. And suddenly you're drinking this, dangerously iced tea tasting, almost all alcohol beverage, right? Same thing is true with the essential oils. You have to build and fail a lot.
Right. It's not just taking, okay, so where there's these 5 essential oils that make the scent profile, and it's 2 drops, 2 drops, 2 drops, 2 drops, 2 drops. It's a constant play and experimentation on the balance of those different oils to get the scent profile you're looking for in the end.
That's right. The process is you're like, okay, I've got this base idea. I want these things to smell like this. And then you start pulling some back and pushing some forward until you get to where you want. Like our Get Lucky formula, which I talk about way too much. And so it's probably our number one seller.
I think it's number 2, but it's a great scent profile. That's why it's the number 1 or number 2 seller.
Right. So I started out with a mahogany, and that's a straight up essential oil. And then I went to the pipe tobacco, and that's a complex congregation of several oils to get that. So, and then we did some vanilla, and we did some other elements in that. And yeah, it just takes time to build that. And then when you do that, you have this really super dynamic. So there's a lot of, and this is where I squirrel, there's a lot of companies out there that will do 1 or 2 fragrances, 1 or 2 essential oils. And yeah, it's great. It smells great. But what we're trying to accomplish is a complex, evolving, flowering, opening as you wear it scent profile.
Right. So some scent profiles, and some of the oils have a different, and I don't know what the proper term or scientific term for this would be. So maybe you can educate me as well. There's a life cycle to it, right? So it's going to dissipate at a different rate than other ones.
Right.
So there's going to be, for lack of a better term, a bloom throughout the overall scent life of the product. Some things are going to be more forward in the beginning, and as they fade, other things are going to come to the surface because they're going to dissipate at a different rate.
Yes. And the cool thing about the essential oils, if you smell them out of the bottle, they smell one way. But you are a complex living organism. And when you take something like a natural product, if you take a fragrance, that's a fixed fragrance. You put it on, you smell like what was in the bottle. With essential oil formulas, you put these on and your body interacts with them, these natural oils, and adds to them and changes
You touched
them.
on this last week a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit different for everybody. And then, for instance, the Whisker whiskey. When you smell Whisker whiskey out of the bottle, it's very vanilla forward.
Yep.
By the way, vanilla,
Women.
the number one favorite fragrance by statistics for women is vanilla. So for me, I don't like way vanilla forward. I like it to be a little back when I put it on, and pretty much when everybody puts it on, the vanilla pulls back and some of the citrus moves up a little bit, still vanilla forward. This complex dance, this is what fascinates me about the science of formulating these things. The dance of the movement of where they go and how they wear across the day. They evolve across the day. These are volatile essential oils. They change, they dissipate, they weaken. Some things like the mahogany, that's a really strong wood. That's a base that stays. It just stays. Like I'll wake up the next morning and it's mahogany, and I'm like, yeah, it's mahogany. It smells good. But whereas the vanilla and the citrus has sort of evaporated because it's a more volatile oil. Yeah. What's really cool about this is you get the profile you want. It's going to be a little different on everybody, and it's going to evolve as you wear it across the day.
See, it's that evolution that really intrigues me. It's as somebody who is not experienced with this from a clinical or scientific perspective, it's amazing how the scent smells one way in the bottle, and you put the oil on your hand and you warm it up and spread it around, and it evolves at that point. And then when you start working it in beard and in skin, it changes again. It's always the same every time I do it, but it's not the same throughout its life cycle. And that's one of the almost living characteristics of an all-natural beard oil that is so unique to me, as opposed to just a chemical bottle of goop that you buy at the convenience store, at the grocery store.
It's literally alchemy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's the really big thing. A fragrance, like a perfume, is going to smell the way it smells. Yeah, your chemistry is going to change a little bit. It's going to smell the way it smells, pretty much like it smelled in the bottle. And it's going to stay there till you wash it out or till it fades away. The approach of using all natural essential oils really changes that whole game. And for me, it just makes it more interesting as a beardsman, as a wearer of the product, and as a formulator.
Excellent. I think, and I hope that answers the question from the user that first posed it to us. And there was a second person who asked me the same question, or a similar question. So I hope that answers those questions. If it did, if it didn't, please put comments in the comment section below. We're always watching on all the platforms of comments, and we're doing our best to interact with everybody. So please let us know. Did that answer your question? Do you have follow-up questions? Did that open a new question for you? Put it in the comments. Let us know. We look forward to your feedback. We thrive off your feedback. We want to be able to evolve and grow as a company with our customers. So please let us know. Did that answer your question or not? Whatever the case may be, just let us know. We're here for you. We're using this as an opportunity not only to educate you, but to find out what you want to know. This is your platform. And just like anything else, you can always reach out to us via email, on the social media platforms. We both respond. We try to do our best to comment with like -doc or -original J, so you know which one of us is commenting. But yeah, thank you for the opportunity to answer these questions in a format that allows the answer to go to multiple people instead of just the person that asked them.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's one of the main drivers for us putting these videos together is we hope as we begin to move forward and continue to evolve, we're going to get more and more feedback. We understand that there's going to be good and there's going to be bad feedback.
And bad is good.
Bad is good as far as we're concerned.
Yeah.
We're not afraid of any question. You know, it's interesting that a lot of the questions we get are from other companies.
Mm-hmm.
How are you accomplishing this? And some of them with disbelief.
Yep.
Like, well, how are you getting this with essential oils? One guy was like, that must be crazy expensive. I'm like, not if you know what you're doing.
Right. So, right. So the premise of that question was, well, if this is your description of your scent profile, that must be the ingredients you're using. Well, not necessarily, and you touched on it well. The scent profile is not a ingredients list. The scent profile is a expectation of what you should be experiencing when you smell.
What you should experience, exactly right.
And that varies person to person.
That also varies. Yeah,
One of the biggest variations I see is barbershop. Everybody has a different expectation of what barbershop should be.
Right. So
And that's a topic in and of itself for an entire episode.
Right. So for me, Rise and Shine has that old school barbershop kind of thing, but except for nuanced and more complex. It's probably our most complex formulation. But you're 100% right. Like for some people, it's talcum powder is the barbershop scent.
Right.
You know.
And for some people, it's very medicinal. And medicinal, I mean by whatever that solution is that the combs go in. That has that unique.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different feel of what barbershop should be. And we don't have a barbershop profile.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most difficult ones to accurately define to the largest group of people.
Well, yeah, that's because, again, as you said, everybody's
varies,
olfactory is different. Everybody's expression, you know, as the product interacts with their own chemistry is different. So as we close, as ever, feel free also to recommend a good stick for us or a good scotch you'd like to see us try.
No. Whiskey. Don't limit it to scotch.
Well,
I beg you, please don't limit it to scotch.
As part of the Scottish diaspora, I will say to you, we'll never say no to your scotch recommendations. And yeah, send the whiskey and bourbon in too. And Original J is a fan of rye. So if you got some really good ryes, I also enjoy the rye.
Long story short, it doesn't matter if the whiskey has an E or not.
Yeah. Hey, to our growing viewers, I hope this was enjoyable for you. Cilantro.
Slanchova.